Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful maxi skirt that is a very good match for the braided rope crochet top. So I decided to call it the shell mesh skirt because it has both aspects of the shell stitch as well as the mesh stitch, both combined in this design. So that's how I came up with this name. If you haven't yet checked out this tutorial, it's already on the channel and you can match it with this skirt to make a matching set. So if you would like the written pattern, it's already available on all my online shops. I'll be leaving the links in the description box below, and let's jump right into the materials. All right, so for the materials you will need a 3.5mm crochet hook, a measuring tape, a pair of scissors, a darning needle, and for the yarn I am using a light fingering weight yarn, just as we used in our previous tutorial of the chevron granny stitch skirt. So we are using the same exact yarn. We are using one strand. As you can see, this is very thin. It will give you a lightweight look, a very comfortable and very light feel for your skirt. And yeah, this skirt can be paired with the braided rope crochet top. If you haven't yet checked it out, make sure after this video you go check it out so that you can have a matching set. And then the stitch that we decided to use for this skirt actually blends in so well with the braided rope design, the bottom design of the braided rope top. So let's get started. Used 4 balls, and each ball is about 300 yards, and each ball is 50 grams, and yeah, I used about 1,200 yards, which is a total of 4 balls to make the whole skirt. So let's get started. Alright guys, you're going to get your 3.5mm crochet hook and your yarn, and you're going to make a starting chain. You're going to start off with a slip knot, twist over your yarn like this, insert your hook into that loop that you've just created, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through. So that's our slip knot. Now you're going to make your foundation chain, and it should be a multiple of 9. So yarn over, pull through, that's 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then since it's a multiple of 9, you just keep adding 9 chains. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's what they mean by multiple of 9. So keep working until the chain can stretch to your hip circumference. So I'll be back to show you the chain that I considered for my starting chain. Alright, so I ended up doing a total of 171 chains, and if I take a measurement, the hip circumference that I'm considering for this design is 40 inches. So this should be able to stretch to 40 inches. So without stretching, we have a total of 30 inches, as you can see here, but when we stretch, we go all the way to 40 inches, as you can see here. So make sure you consider this chain when stretched fully to your hip circumference. So you're going to make sure that your chain is not twisted, and that's by making sure that the braid is facing up at all times. Make sure your chain is not twisted, and we're going to place a slip stitch into the very first chain that we made. So insert your hook into the first chain, yarn over, and pull through all. So this is going to create a round, just as you can see here. You're going to form a round, and we are now going to start working our design. So to start off, you're going to start with a chain of 5. So we're going to start off with a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and that counts as a double crochet, chain 2. You're going to skip over 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the next chain you're going to place a double crochet. All right, after this double crochet here, you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over 2 chains, and place a shell into the next chain. So a shell for this pattern is 2 double crochets, 1, and into the same exact chain place another double crochet. So those are 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets into the same exact chain, 1 and 2, just like that. And then you're going to make a chain of 1, skip over 2 chains, 1, 2, and into the next chain you're going to place a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and double crochet into the next chain, and then make a chain of 1, skip over 2 chains, and place a shell into the next chain. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets into the same exact chain. So let's see what we have here. We're going to repeat this same exact pattern. So if you look behind here, after the shell we make a chain of 1, skip over 2 chains and double crochet into the next, then make a chain of 2, skip 2 chains, double crochet into the next, then make a chain of 1, skip 2 chains, and then a shell into the next chain. So that's the repeat for this pattern. Let's see. Chain 1, skip 2 chains, and double crochet into the next. Chain 2, skip 2 chains, double crochet into the next. Chain 1, skip 2 chains, and place a shell into the next chain. So that's the repeat for this round. You're going to go all the way around. Remember, a shell is 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 more double crochets into the same exact chain. And you can see how it's repeating itself. You're going to keep doing this all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the end of the round. All right, so we've come to the end of the round, and this is what your round will look like. Should be left with 2 chains at the end of the round. You have this one and this one, and now you're going to make a chain of 1 after your very last shell here, and you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the first chain 5. So Insert your hook into the third chain and make a slip stitch. So you can see how the ending looks like. And we are now going to go on to round 2, and this is going to be the repeat round for this project. You're going to make a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're not going to turn our work for this project. We're going to just make a chain of 5 and then double crochet into the next double crochet. The chain of 5 counts as a double crochet, chain 2. Then double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, place a shell into the next chain 1 space of the next shell of the previous round. So into this chain 1 space, you make two double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets into the same exact chain. So we've placed a shell into the shell below. Then you're going to make a chain of 1 and then double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 2, and double crochet into the next double crochet, and then make a chain of 1 and place a shell into the chain 1 space of the next shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. So this is what we have. And another thing to note is after and before each shell, we only place 1 chain. So there's 1 chain before and after every shell. But in between the 2 double crochets, which are these ones, we have a chain of 2 here. That's what you should take note of and keep working your pattern. So this is a shell. So after a shell, you only place 1 chain and then double crochet into the next double crochet. And then you look, if the next stitch is supposed to be a double crochet, remember I've told you in between 2 double crochets, you place a chain of 2 and then double crochet into the next double crochet. And then the next one is a shell. So you will make a chain of 1 and place a shell into the chain 1 space of the next shell. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, and 2 more double crochets. And that's the repeat for this round. You're going to go all the way around and complete your round. I'll meet you back towards the end of the round. All right, so we've come to the end of the round, and I'm chaining 1 and placing a shell into the chain 1 space of the last shell of the previous round. Chain 1 and 2 more double crochets. So this is what your round should look like. And then from here, you're going to make a chain of 1 because it's after a shell. Make a chain of 1 and slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the first chain 5 of the round. So insert your hook into the 3rd chain and pull through all. So that marks the end of round 2. You're going to repeat this round again and again until you get the length of the skirt that you want. So for me, I'm going for a maxi version. Definitely it's going to be way more rounds than a person going for a mini or a midi version, but you can make it to any length of your choice. And I'm going to keep working round 2 until I get the length of the skirt that I want. I'll be letting you know how many rounds I end up doing, and then we shall go on to the next step, which will be the waistband and shaping the upper part of the skirt. So this design is worked from the waist area all the way down to the feet. So this is the upper part of our skirt, and we shall come back to it later on. But for now, we are continuing to work round 2. So starting with a chain of 5, which counts as a double crochet chain 2, you're going to double crochet into the next double crochet, and then make a chain of 1 and place a shell into the chain 1 space of the next shell from the previous round. And you're going to go all the way around, repeating round 2. This is a 1 round repeat until you get the skirt that you want, and then we shall go on to the next step. All right, so we're coming to the end of our round. This is my very final round. And after the shell here, you're going to make a chain of 1, and you're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain of the first chain 5 of the round. So count to the 3rd chain and make a slip stitch, and then make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn. So we've gone ahead to do a total of 82 rounds, and this is what everything looks like. I'm working with a maxi version, but you can make it to any length of your choice. So 82 rounds, and you're going to go back to the foundation chain, the side of the foundation chain, and we're going to create a waistband for our skirt. All right, so for the waistband, I'm going to go ahead and use 2 strands using the same exact hook that I've used for the body of the skirt. I'm going to use 2 strands in order to get a good thickness for my waistband. So I'm going to attach my yarn in any chain 2 space. And then I'm going to make single crochet 2 times in each and every chain 2 space. So into the next chain 2 space, 2 single crochets, 2 single crochets into the next chain 2 space. And then when you come to the shell, you just skip over it and go into the next chain 2 space with 2 single crochets. And that's what we are going to do all the way around. We are only placing 2 single crochets in each and every chain 2 space all the way around the foundation chain of our skirt. So if you see your work trying to gather in, don't try to straighten it out. This is to gather the waistband or the waist area so that it's a little bit tighter than, remember we considered hip circumference for our piece. So we are trying to bring in the waistband a little bit so that it can create a perfect fitting around the waistline. So go all the way around, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of the single crochet round here at this point where we started from. All right, so we've made it all the way around, and you're going to slip stitch into the very first single crochet of the round. So that marks the end of this round, and now we're going to start creating the waistband. So you're going to make a chain of 10. This is going to be the thickness of my waistband. If you want it shorter, then you're going to make fewer chains, and if you want it longer, you go you make more chains. And then you're going to go into the second chain from the hook, which is this one. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all. So single crochet all the way back to the body of the skirt, placing only one single crochet in each and every stitch. You should end up with a total of 9 single crochets because the 10th was a turning chain. All right, so we've come back to the body of the skirt and we're going to slip stitch in each of the next 2 stitches. So into this stitch, make a slip stitch and then slip stitch into the next stitch as well. And then turn your work. Skip over the 2 slip stitches and go into the single crochet stitches, but place the single crochet in the back loop only. So we're going into the 9 single crochets from the previous row, placing 1 single crochet into each, but working in the back loop only. So this is going to help us create the ribbed effect for our waistband. All right, so when you make it all the way to the end, you're going to have this ridge that shows the ribbed effect. So as we go ahead, you'll see the ribbed effect becoming more and more pronounced. So you're going to make a chain of 1, turn your work. This is row 3 of the waistband. You're going to go into each and every stitch with 1 single crochet, but placing it into the back loop only in order to create the ribbed effect, to maintain the ribbed effect. So this is row 3. When you make it to the end of row 3, you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch of the skirt and then into the next stitch. So you slip stitch into 2 stitches of the skirt and then turn your work, and you're going to repeat row 2. So we're alternating between row 2 and 3. So you go into the single crochet stitches of the waistband. We don't place any stitch into the slip stitches, you just skip over them, and you should make sure you maintain the number of single crochet stitches. Just maintain the number for each and every row so that you can have an even waistband all the way around the skirt. So we are alternating between rows 2 and 3, and row 3 starts with a chain of 1 and then single crochet back loop only into each and every stitch all the way back to the body of the skirt. So alternate between rows 2 and 3 all the way around the skirt opening or the waistband of the skirt, and I'll meet you back when I've made it all the way around the skirt. So this is what your ribbing will look like. All right, so we've made it all the way around, and this is what the waistband looks like all the way around the skirt opening. So you're going to make a chain of 1 after your very final row of the waistband. You make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through, and then you're going to get your darning needle, and we are going to close up this gap. So just go into each and every stitch and attach it to the opposite side. All right, so after closing up the gap, you're going to push the loose end onto the back side of the skirt, and you're going to weave in this tail. You're going to go ahead and weave in all the loose ends on your skirt. And this is the final look. If you still feel like the waistband is a little bit big for you, you can go ahead and attach an elastic strand on top of the waistband, and that will bring in the waistband even further. But for me, this is just enough. And let's see the final look of our skirt.